Until we address the digital lock provision, until we address the issue of remuneration, this bill will remain fundamentally flawed.
Copyright is defined by the Government of Canada as a legal term describing rights given to creators for their literary and artistic works. It affects many stakeholders such as authors, artists, musicians, record labels, book publishers, collective societies, libraries, museums, school associations, software developers, retailers, and consumers. Copyright applies to an original work that is tangible. In other words, copyright protects the expression of an idea or intellectual creation. It does not protect the idea itself. The Canadian government has attempted to respond to the changing digital landscape with minor amendments to the Copyright Act, but nothing significant had been proposed until the introduction of Bill C-32.
We all live in a digital world. We live in a world where we're blogging and posting things and on Facebook and doing all sorts of things that actually require us to have enough flexibility in the law so that we can really exercise our free speech and engage.
This new Copyright Act will bring, and these are some of the proposed new copyright measures. The first thing is it proposes that copying content from one device to another, it will allow that. So you can do that. Hey, I've got this on my iPod, I want to put it on my computer. It also will allow recording TV shows to watch at a later date. So if you're PVRing or time shifting, you can do that. And it also has some exceptions to allow for parody, satire, or education. You know, the mashup stuff that you see on YouTube.
The digital lock erases the natural copyrights freedoms that a citizen enjoys. The digital locks completely makes a mockery of any claim of giving fair rights. The government says that you'll get fair dealing rights for educational, reproduction for private purposes, you can make backup copies, you'll have copying rights for the print disabled, you'll have the so-called YouTube mashup provision. But if there's a digital lock in place, all those rights are erased.
The objective of this bill is to modernize the Canadian Copyright Act and to include sector-specific provisions for various stakeholders.
During the consultations, creators told us they needed new rights and protections to succeed in a digital environment.
As reported on CBC, a key clause regarding the breaking of digital locks in Bill C-32 could trump many of the other permissions.
Bill C-32 contains protections for digital locks to make sure that there's protection against piracy.
The foundational principle of the new bill remains that any time a digital lock is used, whether on books, movies, music, or electronic devices, the lock trumps virtually all other rights.
We've used Marshall McLuhan's tetrad to further analyze and explore Bill C-32. The proposed provisions to copyright law would enhance protection of copyright material and the sale of digital content. It would enhance the power of copyright owners and companies to ensure that their material was not illegally used. It will enhance the power of corporations and reduce competition in the marketplace. It would enhance the amount of copyrighted material that businesses, educators, and libraries could use in digital form. It would enhance students' ability to use copyrighted material for educational purposes. Bill C-32 would enhance the development of digital lock technology and the companies involved with developing and selling this technology.
Bill C-32 would obsolesce the privacy of Internet users, as they would become more strictly monitored by Internet service providers to ensure that they were not using copyrighted material unlawfully. It would obsolesce the utility and sharing quality of the Internet.
Bill C-32 would retrieve the need to pay for digital content, increasing the sale of things like DVDs and CDs. It will retrieve the protection of digital content producers, such as artists and musicians. It would retrieve the market of supply and demand, where production of content depends on consumption of that content. Bill C-32 would retrieve surveillance and the ability to more closely monitor sales and user behavior.
The introduction of Bill C-32 would cause the Internet to reverse into several underground methods to access and share digital content. It would cause our society to reverse into one where access to information is limited and over-controlled due to digital locks. Bill C-32 would reverse the Internet into something that was not meant to be, as its potential to provide and share information would be hindered and limited.
There are a number of advantages and disadvantages to be found within the proposed amendments to the Canadian Copyright Act. The modernization of the Act, Bill C-32, makes beneficial compromises and exceptions. However, the digital lock provisions are among the most anti-consumer copyright provisions in Canadian history and negate or override all the positive aspects of this bill.